Okay, client gap number two is your content is not creating demand. So let's say now you've watched the first video, your positioning is strong, you're clear on who you help, the problem that you solve, the transformation that you are selling, and what makes you different. That should make it 10 times easier to create content now. So this is where the next gap shows up. Because obviously, a business does not work in isolated parts. Each piece builds on the one before. And so, if your positioning is the foundation, content is what turns that foundation into interested buyers. And if your content is not doing that, it doesn't really matter how often you post because your content isn't doing its job. Your content is there to build trust, it's there to create desire and urgency in your most motivated buyer. And that is why some people post every single day and they're still not generating leads, and other people can post 3 times a week and be sold out. Because this is not about visibility, it's about creating content that drives buyer movement. So let's break down the three biggest mistakes that I see in content. Mistake number one. You are explaining the method, not the transformation. Now, this is where so many coaches and consultants lose buyers because they talk about their method, their framework, the process, the thing that you are going to do with your clients, the work that you're doing, because that's the thing that excites and interests you, but that's not what your buyer wants. So, again, let's stay with the same fitness example. So, a coach might start to create content about these are the three best exercises to lose weight, or this is how much protein you should eat to stay full, or something around you don't need more discipline, you need a system. I see these posts a lot. And while this may all be true, that is talking about the method. And the thing is, this is the work that you do with them. This is not what they desire. You have to know what your buyer truly, truly wants. And buyers don't wake up wanting a macro plan. They wake up with a very clear desire and a very clear problem. And so, again, with the woman who wants to start dating again, and so she wants to lose weight, the thoughts that are going through her mind are things like, oh, I don't feel good in my body. I'm not going to date until I've lost these 10 pounds. I want to lose weight so I can feel like myself again. And so those are the things that she wants. She wants the outcome of what her life is going to look like when she's lost those 10 pounds or 20 pounds or whatever it is. And so your content has to connect the dots between this is what the problem is, this is what it's costing her, and this is the desire, this is the outcome that she wants. And this is how your work helps her get there. Your method is the bridge, it is not the destination. And so you want to use your method as a way to connect the dots. Because if you don't connect the problem that she has in her life to the outcome that she wants, your buyer will not do that for you. They might just read your post, they like it, think this is interesting, but they will just keep scrolling. And I mean, of course, your unique method is important. You do want to bring that into your content, but it should be the bridge. It should not be the main piece because people are not just buying methods, they're buying the life they're going to have on the other side. And so it's your job to really be able to paint that picture for her. Mistake number two is you have not identified your core message. And so this is one of the biggest reasons why content can feel a bit scattered, even when individual posts are good. And so the problem is that your content isn't compounding. Each post you make is kind of a standalone post, and you're not building your content in a very intentional way. You're kind of like, oh God, I need to get a piece of content out today. What am I going to say? So, how that shows up is you've got an idea here, you've got a message over there, different story. It's not intentional and nothing is building on it. So I've had people come into my DMs and they've been reading my content for a couple of months and then they want to come into my DMs and work with me. Why? Because my content builds on itself. And so your audience might need to see your post multiple times. But if you don't have a strong sense of like, this is what I stand for, this is what I believe, and this is why my method is the best, and this is the core message that I have traveling through all of my content that threads it all together, your message isn't going to get stronger over time. And so your content's not going to create demand. Now, I'm sure you've heard this is not about 100 different posts. It's about one idea being repeated in 100 different ways. And so because there'll just be that one extra post that will really click for your buyer, and then she'll come into your DMs. And often it's not that one post, it's the cumulative effect of everything that you've written over the last month, 2 months, 6 months. So again, if we use the fitness example, and the positioning is helping single women who want to start dating again lose weight so that they can feel confident in their body, then you want to be looking at, okay, what is the one core message? It could be something about how weight loss and confidence in dating is all an internal job. And when we feel good internally, we treat our body better, we show up on dating better. And that could be one core message that is repeated through, different analogies, through client stories, through your own story. It can be repeated in like the diagnostic style of content where you're showing someone what their gap is, why that is their gap, and how you help them move on from that. And so you want to have the same core idea, but different angles, because this is what starts to really build conviction in your own voice. It makes your content so much easier, and it also makes it so much easier for your buyers. So I really want you to think about your own content. I want you to go and look at your last 5, 10 posts. If I was to review your content, would I see a clear thread, or would it just be 10 completely separate posts? Because if your content's not reinforcing one clear message, your audience is not building belief, they're not building certainty, and they're not going to start moving. And so that is the second leak. And mistake number 3, this is a big one. Your content doesn't make people feel anything. And this is huge, especially now in the world of AI. Because there's a lot of content out there that's well written, it's smart, it's informative, but it's completely flat. You read it and you're like, cool, nice to have, move on with your day. It doesn't make you think about it 5 hours later. It doesn't stir anything inside you. And so that type of content can look good on the surface, but it doesn't actually convert. Why? Because it doesn't create emotion. And the biggest thing to remember here is if your content does not make someone feel something, it won't make them do anything. And 95% of the content that I read, people are just feeling nothing from it. Because the emotions that you want your content to invoke are like desire. It's like, oh my gosh, wow, I want this. I want that life. I want that outcome. I want that transformation. And urgency. It's this, I need to fix this now. Oh my God, I can't stay where I am. People have to feel that the cost of staying where they are is more expensive than the cost of investing and working with you. And hope, right? This is possible for me. And so, again, we'll stay with our fitness coach example. A weak post might say something like, here's 3 reasons strength training helps fat loss. It's like, okay, useful, maybe, but it's not emotional, it's not a moving. Whereas if you went into a piece of content that's talked about a story of how you had a client and they didn't feel worthy of dating because they didn't feel good in their body. And then you did this work with them that was internal work to work on their confidence. And then they lost 10 pounds and now they feel amazing and they're dating and they feel so alive. Like that is going to really, somebody is going to remember that because you're painting the before, you're painting the after, and you're connecting your work as the bridge. And that is the difference because a buyer will then read that. They're going to feel desire, they're going to feel urgency, and they're also going to feel hope. It's the like, oh, if she can do it, I can do it too. And that is the type of messaging that moves people because for your content to move people into your DMs, it has to physically create an emotion in their body. And it's not just about understanding something, it's about them being able to see themselves in it. And so we don't want people to read our content and be like, that makes sense. They should feel that is where I am and that is what I want. And I need to fix this now. That is what is going to make your content convert. So, as a recap, if your positioning is strong and your content is not bringing in leads, check these 3 things. Number 1, are you selling the transformation and not just explaining your method? Number 2, have you identified your core message and is that being woven through all of your content? Number 3, does your content actually make people feel something? Because content that converts is not just about getting it seen, it's about building that emotion, that desire, that belief. And that is what's going to move people closer to action, closer to wanting to work with you. And once your content is creating interest and creating demand, the next step is making sure that we take that demand and we convert it into clients. And that's what we're going to cover in the next video. So again, if you want me to identify the biggest gap in your business, Book a 15-minute client gap diagnosis. You're going to send me your LinkedIn profile and the offer before the call. And I'm going to show you where your biggest leak is, why this is happening, and one thing that I would fix right away if I was you. And you can book that below. And again, if you're not ready for that, then come and join us inside She's in Demand.